It's update news time again this week, and we're going to be looking through all of the update news for World of Tanks console that you will be needing for the next week. It is a massive update coming tomorrow. As of the recording of this video, of course, when you're watching this, it will be live in the game. So as soon as you get on the game, if you do want to download the update, which it will be approximately 13 gigabytes, so make sure that you get your download on quick, and then it will be ready for you later on in the day. Now, what's kind of coming in with this update? Well, we basically have a load of new maps. We've got a load of rebalancing with some of the tanks in the game, including some of the Cold War tanks. So you'll actually be able to be a little bit more competitive in those USA tanks or the M1 Abrams, as you were pretty much useless up against the Russian lines in the highest tiers, or eras I should say, even on World of Tanks Modern Armour. Now, what is the new features? Well, we've got custom games. Basically what they've done with this is added the option to have Team Battle Chat and True Vision. You can basically use this for whatever tank you want to play in. So yes, you can use True Vision in World War II on the custom game. So not in the live server, that's just on the custom games. So yeah, I guess it's just an extra option for those of you interested in playing custom games. For me personally, I don't ever really use custom games, so it's not a big problem or a big thing for me anyway. The biggest thing, I think, for this update in terms of what I think is one of the biggest things is, of course, the 4 new maps. Now, we've gone over these maps within previous videos, but this is kind of showing what the maps are, what tiers they're going to be. And of course, we've got Duke Pass, Redshire, Heilbronn, and Muravanka. All of them are available for World War II between tiers 5 and 11. That must be a spelling mistake by Wargaming, because there isn't an 11th tier. Cold War, all eras, so you'll be able to play that for Duke Pass. Redshire will be available for post-war and escalation. Heilbronn for all eras, and Muravanka isn't available for Cold War at all. So they're all fairly decent ones. You're going to have 3 Cold War maps into the game, and essentially 4 World War II maps, all between tiers 5 and 10. So that's really, really decent. We're looking forward to those new maps coming into the game. Well, I keep saying new maps, let's scratch that, old maps that are coming back into the game that should have been in the game previously, so can't really give Wargaming too much credit, but at least they're back in the game now. Garage plays up to tier 10, wow. Now, it's not the only thing going on with the garage, as I'm sure you'll find out later on, but yeah, you can basically have the symbol that says plays up to tier 10. Like tier 10 or plays up to tier 8 or whatever the actual tier that it plays up to, it just shows it in the garage. It was in the game previously before update 6.0, and of course it's taken 1.2 update or a whole 1.2 update to be able to actually get this back into the game. Single purchase bundles now stay available in the store to be gifted, so don't quite know what that is. But yeah, I guess if you want to gift some tanks and stuff like that, then yeah, you'll be able to do that. Tank Ace Marks of Excellence added. So when you reach 100% damage standing, your marks decals, so decorations, camouflage, well, not camouflage, but basically the Marks of Excellence will turn gold. So don't know how it's going to look on the Swedish tanks, because of course they are just, kind of gold anyway, or at least that yellow colour. So they will be turning gold. You'll be able to actually get 100% damage standing, and if you have a tank at 100% right now, then as of this video, you'll probably want to jump in it, play one game, hope that you stay at 100% damage standing, and then you'll be able to get those 4th Marks of Excellence. There isn't a 4th mark, but it just does turn gold, and so yeah, you can show off that you are quite possibly the best player in that tank that you're going to be playing in. If you've got 100% damage standing, it's quite likely, especially if it's a tank not played too much by others. Now, there's been a few gameplay improvements, and one of the key things that I'm a little bit hesitant as to what they're going to be doing is the tank's physics improved. Now, tank physics have been improved. Let's just hope and pray that they haven't actually messed this up at all, and that there isn't going to be any clunking on some of the walls or anything like that, because often there's a lot of bugs associated with when they actually change the physics. I know when they actually brought in the physics whereby you could go up things, it wasn't actually originally in the game on 360, I don't believe, and they actually changed it so you could actually use new physics. Yeah, it was a big one. I think it may have even been in like update 4 or something like that. That was a long time, well, probably less than that even. I don't even know what update it was, but a long time ago, probably 5 years, maybe even 6, when they actually introduce proper physics as they are right now. Now, various AI improvements made to the bot behavior to move and engage the enemy better, because bots are just useless when you actually come up against them. I did see that a few of your comments on one of my videos was actually saying that I was playing against bots. Didn't even know that was a thing in World War II. Yeah, that was just ridiculous. Must have been playing super late at night, which I believe I probably was, and that's probably why I was playing against bots. Yeah, I just didn't think that that was a thing in World War II. Anyway, when flipped, your tracks will no longer move to prevent the flip timer from resetting. Finally, it's only taken a year and a bit since that, and finally that's going to be so nice. We'll be able to actually flip yourself back over as long as your tracks aren't moving, which is nice. Map improvements, updated colour adjustment that provides a much more cinematic vision. Oh, well, let's just hope it's actually like nice, largely inspired by the best tank and war movies on film. So yeah, you'll see some colour adjustments to the map. Yeah, not particularly too big, but hopefully it actually looks good and that it doesn't affect the actual gameplay within the game. So if they put in a really bright filter, I just hope it doesn't affect like being able to see the opponents that you're going to be coming up against, because like, although graphics is good, sometimes you do actually need the gameplay behind it, wargaming, and so let's just hope that that is all good. Multi-base assault mode has been removed from multiplayer to many of you guys. It was, well, thumbs up, I guess. Assault mode added to the following maps in custom games only, so you can play assault mode on Arctic Region, Highway, Mountain Pass, Fisherman's Bay, Steppes, Redshire, Muravanka, Prokhorovka and Malinovka. Maps have been rebalanced, so we've got a few of these. Kalbang has been basically Team Destruction, Standard Battle and Variant 2, so they've made some changes. Let's hope that they're not too drastic, because often when Wargaming decide to try and rebalance a map, it becomes even worse. I'm sure many of you will know exactly what I mean about Mountain Pass. No, not Mountain Pass, I've forgotten the name of it. Arctic Region, I believe it was. Yeah, that was awful when they actually decided that they're going to try and rebalance that and put the two spawns opposite sides, and then it just became like Camp Fest on a map that was absolutely fine before. Now, there are a few other things. The following maps were removed from Cold War map rotation due to the size and sight lines at spawn, and that is Prokhorovka and Highway, which is really good. They just didn't work in True Vision at all. UI improvements, so we've got loads of stuff there. We've got tech tree, we've got newer ammo icons added for higher rate of fire guns, added an apply all option for own skins when equipping. We've got loads of different things coming into the game. I won't go through all of them. Basically, if you want to check that out, then you can check out last video on the update news, which I will link at the end of this one, so go and check that out at the end if you want to look over what the actual visuals look like within the game. Other than that, moving on, we'll probably skip over all of this. The HUD got updated. We've got things like the replay browser, got a few new things. Upgrades and tank appearance got some interesting stuff, but coming into the more nitty gritty stuff, we've got the tank improvements. So the M1 Abrams, like I said at the beginning, has got some significant buffs to how it will perform in the game. You basically get better reload, decreased aim time, you're going to have better shot dispersion, better accuracy on pretty much all of the guns that you're going to be having. You also get better view range, making it more in line with the Russian ones or the Soviet ones or whatever you want to call that within the game. Essentially, all of them will get that as well. They've basically been buffed in numerous different ways, as you can see on screen. If you want to just pause it, you can. When you do that, it will just come up with everything that you can use then to best just perform better in these high tier or high era. I think it's the detente era within World of Tanks. Anyway, moving on. There's been loads of issues addressed. We're not going to go through them. There are way too many. But essentially, all you have to do, press the pause button on the video, have a look through them if you really want to go into them. All they are essentially is just like Wargaming telling us that they've removed a floating rock in one of the maps and that some of the engines have been changed and stuff like that, but nothing actual considerable. It's usually cosmetic, and often it's like fixing a keycard description, etc. It just really depends on whether you want to read through those, but yeah, you can pause right now if you want to. Anyway, moving on, Tanks Reforged. So this is probably the key thing, I guess, in terms of those of you interested in the gameplay. Essentially, the Swedish tank destroyers, as we talked about before, have got buffs. We've actually got the overall actual buffs that they're going to be having, the detailed statistics, and essentially what they've had is actually in order to enter the siege mode, it now takes half the time. So instead of it taking 2 seconds where you're just basically immobile, it will take 1 second, so that's really, really decent, as well as having the drive mode from 1.3 seconds down to 1 second. So if you're in the siege mode and you want to go back into actual mobility mode, it will take you approximately like 30% less time. Camouflage while moving also goes up. And camo will still actually goes up. Reload goes down, meaning that you'll be dealing more DPM as well as being able to actually be more accurate, I believe, as well in a lot of these. The Swedish tier 9, the STRV 1030, actual 1030, not entirely sure, I think is 0, but enter the siege mode, as with the previous one, decreased by a considerable amount. The 105 centimeter actually got a buff to its reload too, and the 105 with the top one also got the reload buff and an accuracy buff as well. So yeah, just basically really, really better overall. Dispersion during hull rotation gone down by like, whoa, a factor of 10. That's mad. It's gone from 0.1 to 0.01, which is massive. It should be a lot better actually hitting whilst turning the hull. Swedish tier 8, UDES 03, pretty decent tank. It's nothing too particularly that special, but as with all of the others, the reload's gone down and the siege mode and drive mode have reduced in time to be able to get into them. And then the chassis and dispersion during hull rotation has also decreased like the previous ones, like we mentioned. Swedish tier 7, alternatively, basically just got a massive buff to its accuracy and its reload on both of the guns that you can put on that, and there's tier 6 also having a reduced reload and on both of the guns, and then the tier 5 and 4 also getting some accuracy and also penetration buffs. With the premium tanks similarly getting all of those kind of buffs to accuracy, siege mode, forward speed and reverse speed during siege mode. On track basically means that you'll get 50% off all of the tiers 3 to 6 and 30% between tiers 7 and 10, so that's a nice discount on silver. And if you haven't got any of these and you're wanting to grind towards them, then the 25% XP bonus on every single tank in the line during the next 2 weeks will mean that you'll be able to get to that top tier Swedish tank destroyer, should you wish to, that 25% a little bit quicker, which is always nice, along with not costing you an arm and a leg in silver, which I'm sure everyone will be glad about if you're actually going towards them. Would I recommend going towards the Swedish TDs as a first kind of tank line? Absolutely not. Would I recommend going as a second one? Absolutely not. Would I recommend it maybe as your 6th or 7th? Then yeah, maybe. But essentially there's a lot better tanks or more fun tanks and ones that aren't going to want to pull your hair out when you're actually grinding through the tech tree. So there we go, that's my opinion, but of course you have all of your opinions, and make sure to leave those in the comment section down below. When the update drops and the news articles come out, we'll do another video covering all of the weekly news and the actual update information if Wargaming have actually sneaked in a few things that we can't see, and we'll do an overall review tomorrow. So there we go, check out that on the channel when it comes in tomorrow, and I really do hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.